Another call led us to a marina. Some fisherman wasn't alone. Said he was with a black man, late 30s.
Backstage passion to keep this kind of shit, but, you know, it was a special night. Nah, he signed it to Daryl. It was the real deal. Sure. Well.
I appreciate all your help.
Ray Donovan, Season 7, Episode 3 recap. We're going to go through and let you know what happened and break this thing down. I'm going to do it character by character, the estimation of what you saw from each individual character to give you the review. Some said this episode was boring. I think it was just a setup for what they want to do going forward. If you're finding me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Follow me in all my social media links. And if you enjoy purchasing the merch of YouTubers, this month I am featuring the American Hero series, and it stars Rosa Parks. So we'll start with Mickey. Mickey Donovan popped back up at the house. Ray punched him in the face. And during this episode, you see Mickey riding the whole entire time with Ray. They go back to the crime scene because Ray has this elaborate plot that he is going to blame the killing of these cops on Mickey. So he uses Mickey's fingerprints. He puts Mickey's fingerprints all over everything. And Mickey is having somewhat of a spiritual awakening. He really doesn't want to participate in this, but he does anyway. And throughout the episode, you see Mickey just talking to Ray about forgiving him and how Ray had these parts in his life. And at the very end of the episode, Mickey, Bunchy, and Ray are at what was either the airport or the bus station, because now that Mickey is supposedly dead, Ray is sending him away with money, a passport, get the hell out of Dodge. And at the very end, you see a touchy moment between Mickey telling Bunch that he's his favorite. Bunch says, "You tell everybody that." Then he looks at Ray and says, "Ray, I forgive you." Ladies and gentlemen, if you think this is the end of Mickey, you can forget it. Mickey will return. Next, we'll talk about Lena. In the previous episode, she told Bridget that she was going back to LA. And in this episode, that is exactly what she did. At the very end, she tells Ray, "Shake my hand, I'm going back to LA." Of course, Ray, being the stoic person that he is, he didn't shake her hand. Ray almost looked like he was a little sad to see her go. I liked Lena because, in all honesty, she was the everything. She was basically the CEO, general manager of Ray's operation. She fixed everything. She handled everything. And who could blame her for wanting to leave this chaotic family, considering she lost her girlfriend last year because of this family? So it looks like she's gone, but ladies and gentlemen, again, this is another character that I'm telling you, we will see her again before this episode is up. And then Bridget, they had one scene where Bridget was with the fake Justin Bieber's manager / lawyer, and we knew that something was going on with her and this individual, because she told her dad early in this season that she didn't want to be engaged to her fiance. She didn't want to cheat on him, but she liked somebody else. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the person she liked. And they showed them having a romantic moment, playing the piano together, and then they started kissing. They cut away from, I guess we can assume maybe they had sex, maybe they didn't, but either way, it was an enduring scene, which leads you to believe this is her first time cheating on her fiance. And with the sketchiness of her fiance, I bet you when he finds out about this guy, he might try to kill this guy, which is going to be a brand new plot twist within this season. Keep an eye out for that. Next, we'll talk about Bunch. And this episode, in terms of Bunch, was just basically Bunch coming to grips that he wanted to get a pay raise at his job. The manager said, "No, you shot this kid in the back." And then he goes and tells Ray, "You know, I feel bad for it." And Ray just basically tells him, "Look, man, you had to do what you had to do. Don't worry about it." He picks him up, takes him from the bar where he was having these feelings and consoling. And then they go on the road, and all of a sudden, Bunch just hops out the car, walks in somewhere, and then we later see that he's at the hospital where he shot this kid in the back. And you just kind of wonder what is going through Bunch's mind right now. Bunch has lost his child. You know, things aren't the best in terms of his relationship with his dad. He's overcoming what happened from his dad's situation, and now he shot this kid, and he's feeling some kind of way about that. Even though Ray tried to explain to him, you just did what you had to do. We'll have to keep an eye on to see what happens from Butch. And then Daryl, who's very interesting in this episode. Darryl's mom pops up to meet Daryl at his house. And she pops up because she's under the assumption Mickey is dead. She gets there with Daryl, realizes that Mickey is alive, but she's gonna stay and just kind of help out. And as you see with Daryl, I think Daryl is gonna be the weak link of this season, because Detective Perry pops up. She has questions for him. She wants receipts about the night of the murder. And Daryl, being a little shaky, has to call Ray. Ray comes over to his house and tells him to keep his mouth shut in front of the mom. The mom speaks to Ray. Ray disses the mom. Detective comes back to Daryl and asks Daryl to present her with the receipts. And what does Daryl do like a dummy? And she asks him, can she have them and take them with her? And Daryl gives it to her like a dummy and says, you can take it with you. You know that's going to lead to something else down the road. From there, we'll talk about Terry. Wasn't a whole lot to happen with Terry other than he met back up with that chick who practices holistic therapies to help her clients. And we see Terry laying on the ground at the end of this episode as if he done took some more of those mushrooms or those drugs that they give you while everybody's dancing in a circle. He's laying on the ground looking at the stars, looking up into the moon and Jupiter as if he's seeing a shooting star. And it just makes you wonder what is going to happen with Terry, with him being spaced out with this weird group that's taking him for a ride. We'll go to Detective Perry now. Detective Perry is going to be a thorn in the side of this crew for probably this whole season. She pops up on Daryl, and I guess she's realized now that Daryl is the most vulnerable person of these Donovans that she can probably put a squeeze on. She pops up to Daryl's crib. She tells him, I need your receipts. She comes back, asks can she take the receipts, and he gives them to her. She goes back to the office, and the captain tells her, let this go. And she's just kind of like, nah, why? Captain's like, let it go, and tells her to let it go. She walks away as if she's gonna let it go, but you see a scene where she's on her computer doing some kind of work, which tells me she's not gonna let it go. She's gonna keep digging, and because stupid Daryl gave her those receipts, I'll bet you she finds a way to corroborate that that's a fake. And they probably wind up putting the pressure on the Justin Bieber character, because remember, he's got something going on with housewives. So don't be surprised if Detective Perry puts the pressure on him and comes back after the Donovans. Next, we'll talk about Molly Sullivan. She pops up at Ray's office and basically gives a heartfelt reason why Ray should let Kevin Sullivan go, and basically says that Ray's sister was babysitting her. And Ray at first act like it doesn't bother him. And then later on at the end of this episode, we see Ray meet back up with her at the bar. After he's gone to counseling, Ray is kind of having it, I guess, somewhat of a spiritual awakening himself. And you wonder, did maybe the smile of Molly, or maybe the fact that she whispered in his ear about how the sister felt about him and the mom felt about him, made Ray give up the evidence that they had on Kevin Sullivan. Well, at the end of the episode, Ray gives Molly the SD card with the evidence, and then we see Molly pop up in front of her brother with this giggle as if she was evil, as if she played Ray, and she gives the SD card to her brother. Folks, this is not the end of Molly and Kevin, believe me. And last, we'll end on Ray. Ray dealt with his daddy. Ray dealt with Bunch. Ray dealt with Daryl. Ray dealt with Molly. Ray saw Lena leave. And at the very end, Ray understands that now that he's given Molly that SD card to give to Kevin, he's gonna have to deal with whatever penance the mayor is gonna come down on his head for. So ladies and gentlemen, this whole entire episode was just basically a glorified setup for what is to come with Ray, because now he's made an enemy with the mayor, and I'll bet you somehow, some way, he goes to Kevin and Molly Sullivan for help, and they will be more than willing to help him out. But leave me your comments on how you felt about this episode. Even though people said it was boring, I think it was a great setup for things to come. And I'll keep doing reviews on this as long as you guys keep watching. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like my video. Please comment, subscribe, get yourself that life gain. Please follow me on all my social media links in the event YouTube attempts to pull me off the web again. You guys will know how to get up with me and make connections with me going forward. Till that next Sex is Hell video, I'll see you.